Hi, it's Todd Gross, and I am here with Arthur Joseph, who is perhaps perhaps the preeminent trainer of voice in the world right now. And the fact that he's offering for us internet marketers this very same training is just you know what? I'm having feedback. I'm going to put in headphones. That will solve that. I'll be right back on. Wonder why that happened.
It's because we have such booming, resonant voices.
It's funny because, Arthur, I usually do this stuff with other people running it, doing the connections and stuff on the Hangouts. So I'm always just showing up.
In Google Hangout.
I just have to find the source of my feedback. I think I did. Okay, is that needed? All right, we're still on the air. Starting again. 3, 2, 1. Hi, it's Todd Gross. I am here with Arthur Samuel Joseph. He is one of the leading voice coaches in the world right now, and he has coached names that are off the charts, from Tony Robbins to, I think it was even Angelina Jolie, and to Arnold Schwarzenegger. I mean, the list is so incredible, Arthur. It's uncanny, but the list goes way down the line, all the way to just a regular person, a regular business, and even over to sports. I mean, how is it that actual voice coaching and your whole method of taking a look at one's voice and going beyond that, how does that relate to somebody that is not necessarily officially in the business?
We all have to breathe and we all have to communicate. And so vocal awareness is the glue. It sticks everything together. And that's one of the things that I love so much about this work is it's the common theme that runs through us all. And it reduces hierarchy. It puts us all on a level playing field. And we were speaking before we went on about sort of why am I doing this? And the aspirational vision is to change the world through voice. The more pragmatic one is that voice is power. Whether it's Arnold, whether it's Sean Connery, whether it's Emmett Smith, it doesn't make any difference. We all have to communicate effectively and to convey not just the message, but embody the messenger. And with your audience, I'm so compelled because every day they sit at this computer or they go out and do a seminar, or they do a video, a webinar, etc. And we know in a nanosecond if it's real or not. But we don't know how to make it better. Now we have a system that will actually help every one of the people that will watch this within a matter of moments, literally know how to be better. And that is really cool for me because we get to make a difference.
I love it. Now, you apparently created a brand new way of looking at voice in general. If you could tell us a little bit about what that method is, because I know that folks are curious as to what makes this different.
Vocal awareness, which is my work, I created 52 years ago this past month. And it looks at the reality that this is communication mastery. So if, for example, may I play with you, Todd?
Sure.
If I asked you, to say, when I speak, I need to be aware, just as you normally would.
When I speak, I need to be aware.
Now, embody a significant man of stature, and with your hand, literally pull a thread like this from the top of your head. And you'll notice the first thing you do is inhale. And now rest your hand, but stay in stature, and you notice your abdominal muscles engaged. You can put your arm down, and we're going to say the same sentence in a moment. When I speak, I need to be aware, and I'm going to help you breathe from the count of 3, slowly and silently. In 3, deeper. 2, when I speak, I need to be aware.
When I speak, I need to be aware.
And say it 50% slower and put a period at the end of it and see the period.
When I speak, I need to be aware.
Feel the difference?
Yep.
And all we did was sit differently, breathe, and see a period. And so in this notion of communication mastery, as you know, I teach a great number of supreme athletes. And I tell them all that you bring the talent or the gift to the sport, but someone teaches everything. And the mastery is in the subtlety. One of my students is a great running back who's in the National Football League Hall of Fame, Marshall Faulk, who told me one of his practice drills was to relax into a hit. Now, how counterintuitive is that? And in sport, we have peer groups all doing the same thing and motivating us and what have you. But out here, we live in our silos. So we don't know how to get better. We don't have peer relationships. We don't have that trainer every day sitting over my shoulder. So vocal awareness, to take a step back, this is mastery. So it's not just a breath. It's the quality of a breath. It's not just sitting up. It's embodying ourselves in stature, which causes the body to breathe, the chest open, the abs to engage. So it's always about the detail. You're a significant and excellent broadcast professional. You have spoken for decades and made your living through your voice. We don't, traditionally, however, ever warm up our voices. Before broadcast, we don't go, yeah, 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 like a singer backstage or an athlete stretching a hamstring before they go compete. So you have this really beautiful voice. One of the first things I said to Ryan when he introduced us, because I heard and saw, you have a really beautiful voice. We aren't all as blessed. This is a gift. But if even with this beautiful voice, I asked you to do this. We're not rushing your breath. Lips together, and listen to how I do it. And then the next time you do it, say, when I speak, I need to be aware at the end of that.
When I speak, I need to be aware.
You hear the voice is lower and has more resonance.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had mentioned to you prior to us going on the air, is how I try to reach that sometimes to command attention.
Yes.
That's very interesting.
And yes, please.
I've worked with some other people. You know, I went in through as a meteorologist, so I came into the technical route and then had to learn and pick it up. So I didn't have training. Some of those that I worked with early on obviously had training and did some of these exercises, such as Paula Zahn, who I worked with, and she always had a mouth exercise that she started at the very beginning, every time right before she went on, to loosen up her mouth.
Yeah. James Brown is JB is one of my students, and before we started, that was one of the things that he brought to it, but now it's just a 180 from all of that. But yes, not many people get to do that, however.
Yeah, that's very, very interesting. Now, in terms of what we're offering in this package that you've come to us with, that I was thrilled that you're doing this, because I've never really been able to explain what I do. Like, for instance, when we did this at the very beginning, okay, you know, I try to do that when I try to broadcast in front of the camera when I do my video work.
Yes, of course.
Or obviously when I occasionally do weather on TV still. So, but I don't have an actual method that I know consciously that I'm doing. I'm like fishing around. So I never would have thought of that. So I've never given training of any sort of substance. I've done a little bit of bonus training for folks here and there, but I've never been able to formalize it because I don't have that background that you do, where you can see the voice and you can see what is needed, and all these exercises. That's my New York accent. I'm not going to let you catch me. That you have, like, for instance, I understand you have 7 rituals as an example. I don't know if you talk about that in Visual Voice Pro.
I do. Yes, I do.
That's,
And also beyond that, my latest book is called Vocal Leadership, 7 Minutes a Day to Communication Mastery. This is not a parlor trick. This is a real craft. We know that it's work. But literally in 7 minutes a day, we can make a difference. If we took 45 seconds before a cold call, before a broadcast, before anything, not even a full minute, just to put ourselves in stature, follow a couple of my rituals. Most importantly, if I ask you right now, take a deep breath, please, and exhale. And now allow a slow, silent breath with your eyes on me. Deeper, deeper. And that's physiologically different.
mm-hmm.
First time the chest rose, the second time the rib cage expanded, just by changing language. That happens to be the 3rd ritual. And right now, as I speak to you and I say to you, you are an extraordinary man and you do extraordinary things. You are an extraordinary man and you do extraordinary things. All I did was change pitch and slow it down. One was honest, the other one fraudulent.
Mm-hmm.
And all I did was change pitch and slow it down. And that's all in the program. And one of the things I'm moved by, to be honest, this is obviously my life work, but I'm doing it with you. I'm on video teaching just as you and I are engaged right now. And then Ryan, who helped design the mechanics of the program, because I annotate, if you were to look at, I'd love your audience to sometime, if they're interested, to go to YouTube and look at Michael Irvin and Emmett Smith deliver their National Football League Hall of Fame speeches. Emmett's was 22 minutes, Michael's 28, fully memorized without even a 4x6.
Mm-hmm.
This Friday, Commissioner Goodell, Commissioner of the National Football League, has this press conference. Yesterday, we had an hour conference call doing the same things we're doing now. He will stand up there Friday with no notes. He will have 4 vocal awareness reminders on the podium, and he'll be there for an hour with about 7 minutes of prepared remarks without notes and 50 minutes probably of Q&A, and all with the awareness of stature, breath, visceral language.
Can you describe that? Because you say that a lot, visceral language.
Yes, I make voice visual. When I just said that, watch what words are underlined. I make voice visual. You can see them. And notice the punctuation at the end. I make voice visual. There's a period. You see it. And notice what I do with the beat after.
Very tough. You've got to know how much I'm loving this, because I mean, I try to figure out what the heck I'm doing all the time. And how do I tell somebody how I'm inflecting? How do I tell somebody how I know where to put in a pause? Because the dead air in between the words is as important as the words themselves. And going up and down at the right time and at the wrong time is also as important. And you seem to have a way to actually see that, which I've never been able to convey.
And also, I teach how not to pause. I'm a singer. So a pause right now as I speak to you, I'm pausing in the middle.
Right.
But right now as I speak to you, I'm creating a space. And when I pause, we hold our breath. You hold your breath. We've lost a connection at a very subtle level. As I create space, I breathe. And so one of the points I'm making here is that space has value. A song without a rest is not the same piece of music. So in this program, I also teach people how to allow space, but it can be scary.
Right.
And so it feels like the chasm of the Grand Canyon. I'm hanging out there for so long.
Right. Right. Right.
And so we fill it with what I call white noise. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's an interesting problem that President Obama has, as an example, where when he's not on his game, he puts the ums in, and when he's on his game, he takes them right out. You know, you could actually tell when he's prepared and when he's not.
exactly. Very astute. And so here in this work through it's strategy. And one of the things that we've created, I annotate it all by hand, even when I do my own work. And I even show you, I'm doing this on camera in the Video Voice Pro. But Ryan also created a program where it's done digitally, so you can cut and paste. So you've written an opening paragraph, an elevator pitch, whatever it is, and I show you how to annotate it so it comes out the way you want. Emmett is from Pensacola, Florida. In his Hall of Fame speech, on the front page, about 6 lines from the top, is the word success. But being from Pensacola, he would say success. So I put a K in parentheses above the word with what's called a downbeat, an accent on the U, so the word comes out success. And we hear Emmett being natural but eloquent. We hear him embodying not the brand was one of the things people learn. If I were to create with you what I call a persona statement, the root of the word persona means through the sound. One's identity is largely conveyed through the sound of a voice. And as you and I know, 3 seconds, an opinion is created. There is no warm-up time. So one of the axioms is you never get a second chance to make a first impression.
Correct.
So here we create our brand. How do I want to be known? For me, I immediately get about you, Todd, trustworthy, integral, wise, if not intelligent, wise. And so I would put that down there as in part, my brand motto. And because the goal here is not to present, not to be the best speaker in the room, because that was fraudulent, but how to claim that and use this work to help us embody that. Did that make any sense?
Yeah, and you say that voice power then relates to earning power. How do you connect the two?
I could have the best content, but if I can't deliver it, I'm out the door. How at dinner time we start getting cold calls. We can tell in a nanosecond the legitimacy of that person on the other end of the line. They're really interested in me or they're just selling me something. And it's a nanosecond. We all know this. Years ago when I was training Tony Robbins, we flew to Arizona to meet with the professor who had just written a book on influence. And he spoke about the law of scarcity. So I come to you speaking about this is earning power. If I let you see my fragileness, my anxiety, if I only can convey the data, then I'm not embodying the messenger. I call it, it's not just the message, but the messenger. My mouth is not just my mind out loud. And if I'm speaking with you, if you were, for example, can you just throw a product at me? Just something in your space? I'm just playing.
Well, let's see, recent products. Yesterday we had a logo creator that came out.
Okay, great. So I have this app that is going to help you create the best logos you can ever imagine, and for a fraction of the cost of what it would take to really go to a marketing designer to do this. Now that's not good.
Say it the other way. Yeah, now say it how you should say it.
I have a product for you that is one of a kind. I have never seen this before. I've looked around for something like this, but this is the first time I've seen a logo app that helps you design, that helps you even create the vision that you want to have expressed in that logo in a matter of moments and at a fraction of the cost of what it would cost you to really go to an actual designer to do it. I
Beautiful.
don't know what I'm talking about, but
No, but it was beautiful because that exactly shows the difference in the two deliveries, and your voice and pacing was so clearly different between the two, and the amount of impact in terms of me wanting to get that product was so clearly different. And again, as you know, I do this continuously online, where I am the spokesperson through audio or through video for so many products in internet marketing, in the internet marketing space. But I've never been able to understand exactly what it was until just now when you did that example that I've been striving for so long to do. I always try to slow my pace, become interactive with the audience, but I've never seen it done in front of me before like that. I can
and
actually visualize it. That was beautiful.
thank you. And to point out too, I'm teaching people how not to become somebody they're not. What makes what you do, who you are professionally, so successful is people see you. And you've earned a trust. It's not artifice. But most of your audience is presenting, they're selling. I hope you like me. Yes, but what if the other person has another point of view? I can't serve two masters. So what you do is you really embody yourself, Todd. And that's what compels people to work with you. And it's as simple as that.
Thank
And
you.
so,
Before we get too far on me, because I know you're going to be doing this for everybody, but let me just explain how this product breaks down, Arthur. Is that these kind of tips are actually in Visual Voice Pro, and that's what you'll be getting. And if you take it one step farther, you can actually get Arthur to do webinars with you in the one-time offer that's in the inside. If you keep going, he will even offer personal analysis of your voice as well, and of yourself as well.
to the first 100 for that one, because and it's really important that your audience know I'm not cookie cuttering any of this. The webinar is with me. The voice
Right.
analysis is with me, and it's not generic. I'm really looking at your video or listening to your audio.
How are you finding the time to do this? You're a Hollywood professional, so to speak. I mean, how is it that you've been able to put a notch in your time schedule to be able to do this for us?
That's a wonderful question. One of the techniques I teach in this work is called 168 hours. 7 times 24. How do we structure time? And so it connects to the other notion that everything in life revolves around two things: everything, to choose to do something or to choose not to. At this stage of my journey, I'm choosing this. So I've actually structured time to make this possible. And I'm only doing it in this particular window, to be honest, because I do have so many responsibilities. It moves me deeply to be doing this with you. It moves me deeply to see the possibility of people being on, receiving this from you, and then opening up the Visual Voice Pro and looking at how simple it is to be able to do that. And you, for years, as a meteorologist, you would go back and watch that show in between the 5 o'clock and the 11 o'clock. You'd track these things and you'd see your performances.
Right.
In Visual Voice Pro, I show people how to put on your video camera and take 20 seconds and look back.
Right.
Without judgment. Oh, I see now I'm too fast. Oh, okay. I don't want to necessarily slow down, but I see I forgot to breathe. And so what we're learning to do is, if your audience, when I teach the webinars, I'm scheduling them 3 to 4 weeks after the launch this week, because I want people to do the work, but I don't want it to be out there too far. I really want to help you.
Right.
And so do the work for 2 to 3 weeks. Then we do the webinar and you ask me a gazillion questions. We interface all of this. And so within a month, I wanted it scheduled right now in this window, because by the end of Q1, I want people to be able to quantify that difference. By the end of the first quarter, I made X in January, February. Look what I did in March. And it is quantifiable. There is zero question about that.
Wonderful. So it definitely does translate, it sounds like, to earning power. Wonderful. I can't thank you enough for being here. Again, the product is Visual Voice Pro. This is first being launched on the 4th of February. We're at 2016. This is going to be going, I guess, for a while. And we're going to just really try to get as many people involved with this exciting offer from Arthur as we can. And I am just so excited about it. It's so much up the alley of my particular group as an internet marketer, as opposed to others, because they've been following kind of my journey all along. So this is really, really great. And we're really going to give it a great effort to get as many people connected with you while you've been so gracious enough to offer your time. I mean, it's like the heavens have come down and have offered you, and we're just so pleased that you're doing it. And the price is unbelievably low for this. And that's what's, even better. So thank you so much for, caring about us down here on Earth rather than just dealing with the stars, so to speak. It's not just voice. What you teach goes so far beyond and relates to your whole personality. As you mentioned, you've worked with Tony Robbins and so many different avenues of life, because it's not just about voice, and you've always seen it that way. And that's why we're so excited about it. Arthur, thank you so much for joining us.
It is a privilege, and thank you for your time, sir.
You bet. We'll see you, of course, when we release this product, if you're watching this prior to the release, and that coming up on the 4th. Thank you. Take care, Arthur.
Be well.